excited, Michael. It's great to have you on.
They don't come out for anybody, you know. They really don't. They'd be at their desks or even possibly in the pub by now.
Yeah,
if it wasn't for you. I've just been to Beijing. I saw the Olympics come and go there. I mean, you're from Georgia. What legacy did the Atlanta Olympics leave on the place? Has everyone forgotten about them now?
Yeah, pretty much. There's not much of a legacy there. Old buildings.
Is that it? A friend of mine out in Beijing was saying there's all been this stuff about Beijing, about all the political dogma and everything surrounded. We said Atlanta was worse, you know, big capitalist thing going to the home of Coca-Cola, you know, and all the poor areas were cleared away to build the stadium. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I know that the rents went up and kind of never came back down again. So it wasn't I don't think it was that great for people that actually lived there.
Right.
But a lot of people did watch it on TV.
OK, we'll be speaking to Michael about R.E.M's new single and album, as well as their current UK tour in a bit. But first, a question for you, Michael. Which American said, the man who dies rich dies in disgrace?
That would be Andrew Carnegie.
Correct. Well done.
I played his ball.
You're one of the most famous philanthropists the world has ever known.
He was of the Victorian era, but there are many multi-millionaires about at the moment, even keener to share their wealth around.
Giles Brandreth's been looking into the mind of the modern philanthropist.
Giles, I mean, it's a wonderful thing that these people do, but I do have great respect for people who are anonymously giving money to charity. Call me cynical, but I kind of...
You're looking at me in that regard.
I'm sorry.
I must say, I've always found it's much nicer to do it privately. I go on working, indeed, because I've actually found the advantage of money is that it does keep you in touch with your children.
Yes.
And what little I do privately.
Okay.
But the truth is...
Yes, but seriously,
the reason
you know where I'm
people,
coming from. I have respect for people who do it quietly.
For example, there's a great Scottish man called Sir Tom Hunter, who is our most generous philanthropist, who is committed to giving away £1 billion of money to something called the Hunter Foundation. He wants to be immortal. And he wants to be very generous and will be very generous. There's a big difference. Our Victorian forebears left their money to their children. It grew over the years. Today, what the new philanthropists are doing, they're entrepreneurs who've made a killing and they're going to dispose of it straight away. They want to see how it happens. They want actually to be involved in the giving. And they're also wary of the damage they think that great wealth could do to their children. They know that they began with nothing and they think their children will be better off beginning without being spoilt by huge wealth.
But without wishing to be too cynical again, there's a slightly different view where they've made what some would call an obscene amount of money. So they made £500 million and they give away £450 million.
An obscene amount of money. I think every penny you've made of your millions has been worthwhile. Do not listen to these rude people. We love your records and the success you've had. And I think it's sweet of you to give it to your goddaughter.
Okay, Giles, you're scaring him.
But you take my point.
Forget
about that point. No.
I take your point and I throw it away.
Okay.
Because my point is that these people are very generous. The Sainsbury's, the Tate family, these have given money. The new generation of people like J.K. Rowling, who have made it creatively, are giving their money away to do good work in their lifetime.
So, Michael, what's your take on this? Do you have a set amount of money you give away to good causes, or...?
I do, but I don't talk about it.
Right.
I'm not a Christian, but I come from a Christian background, and it's kind of understood that you don't really discuss your philanthropy publicly.
Yeah. But what criteria would you apply to it, though? If you got, say you don't want to talk about it, what kind of things appeal to you?
Well, the band does stuff in a very scattershot way. We were talking earlier about the community that we come from, Athens, Georgia, which is very small. There are a lot of organizations in great need there in kind of a more rural setting in the U.S. That the government don't really take care of, and so we're able to do a lot with just a little bit here and there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we see you with, I think, is it with Bono we see you here? I mean, he tries to change the world. People are quite cynical about that. What do you think that the motivation is?
He's introduced... We're great friends, and we've known each other since 1985, and through him I've met people like Bill Gates and his wife, and these are people that are actually really altering the landscape, altering the world that we live in, and our understanding of it, and changing people's lives in very great ways. And I'm really glad that they're doing it.
Well, Michael's been generous enough to take time away from his tour to visit us on the One Show.
Yeah, at the risk of stating the startlingly obvious, Michael, you've got one heck of a voice.
Thank you.
Just don't care.
Size Reason, the latest album, Accelerate. About time too.
I must take you to task, Michael. The song starts with the following line. Turn on the TV, and what do I see? A pageantry of empty gestures all lined up at me. We didn't have you down as a regular one-show viewer, I must say. It does seem that you've seen us before. We're very flattered that you've watched. What programme were you watching when you saw that?
View, yeah.
That's a reference to our current president, who I despise, very publicly despise. Just can't stand the guy or his administration. And it was about him going to the gravesite of Martin Luther King, one of my heroes, and I think desecrating the memory of that great man and his work by being there during the Iraq War. I found it pathetic. So I wrote the song about it.
Yeah, what do you think about the current presidential candidates, and indeed Michelle Obama today all over the paper?
Well, she's a lawyer and she's a mother. She knows how to frame an argument. She knows how to present her ideas in a way that I think are understandable. I think she's obviously a very smart and a very bright woman. Her husband, I think, is probably what my country needs more than anything right now.
We said they present themselves as ordinary Americans. That's a problem, isn't it? Because you want an ordinary American in the White House. You want an exceptional American in the White House.
You want an exceptional American, yeah. And I think he's probably an exceptional person. You look at the way he's put his campaign together, and the way he responds to many of the criticisms that are already being lobbed at him from either from the Clintons or from the McCain.
So do you think he'll get in?
Yes, I think he's going to make it.
Okay.
And it'll be a better day for all of us.
Okay, we're going to take you back here a bit. 28 years, in fact, actually. 3 in the band, obviously, but this is you. Oh, there you are, the 3 of you,
Mike
currently.
Mills and Peter Buck, the other 2. You've changed a bit over your 28 years
You
together.
have, Michael.
That wasn't that long ago, though.
No, it wasn't. Well, this one was. This was 28 years ago. This was your first appearance.
Oh, shit.
It was all grey with
Yeah, I remember that.
You look subtly different there. I can't quite work out what it is.
I had hair. It covered the scar here, and then the hair went away, and I had to kind of face the fact that I've got a big scar on my head.
Oh, it doesn't take as long to get ready in the morning, you know.
So what was it like coming to Britain for the first time then?
Terrifying. At the time, I had one pair of glasses, and they were broken. I remember having to perform with them on because I'm quite blind without them, they would fog up, so I wouldn't be able to see the audience, and that actually made it easier for me to perform.
And is your appetite for touring the same now? Because we come across some quite worn-out old rock stars in here who you get the impression would rather not be bothered with the whole sorry business. But
I think I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I really love my job. I love the people that I do it with, and I think touring and performing and writing music is really what I was kind of intended to do. So I love it.
Great. Well, with all the touring Michael does with R.E.M, you might be familiar with some of the more arresting sights lining motorways around the world, Britain's motorways possibly.
Yeah, often glimpsed at speed. Stopping and having a closer look is tricky, especially for a busy international rock star.
Much easier, however, for a retired international cricketer.
It's something really quite special.
You don't get that in Athens, Georgia, do you?
No, you don't.
Painting livestock.
No, we don't do that very often down there.
Well, what did you think of that? Do you think that was art?
I thought it was fantastic. Are you kidding?
The red sheep are cool. They just make you smile. It was the first time we drove up there. I haven't seen them before, and you just started giggling as everyone in the film was just laughing, and it's great.
Yeah, but if you're going like that,
well,
you've got to look where you're going.
No, you've got to keep your eyes on the road, of course.
But this art by motorways can't be too good, can it? Because it could cause terrible pile-ups.
Well, just the people in the back. The people in the back look at it. You just keep your eyes on the road. What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
But a lot of these, they don't seem to be down south. Mostly seem to be up north.
No, that's right. We need a few more down south. You know, the M1 can be a bit of a boring stretch, can't it? M25. We need a few red sheep on the M25. It'd be perfect. Because the Angel of the North's up north, and most of them seem to be up north. The guys on the beach, the 100 Men are up north. So get them down south.
Michael, you must wonder why we need entertaining when you can get on a freeway in America. You can be on it for 800 miles and not see a piece of art.
A single red sheep.
However far you go. So, we see some art of your own here. There's a great book of photos you put together of the band's life on the road. It's a day in the life of Michael Stipe. First thing in the morning, doing some rehearsing.
Morning rehearsals, yeah.
Great picture, that. On the road, I think, is that a live tiger there?
That's a stuffed tiger there. That's in the Hong Kong airport.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, these are pictures by David Belisle, who travels with the band. He's a great photographer.
And next, please.
Oh,
Even rock stars have to take a leak
having
now and then.
yeah.
That's allowed, I think.
And you shave all your head before
Yeah,
shows?
yeah. This was in Lisbon, and this is the first day of the tour because I always grow my beard out in the winter. So this was.
I thought somebody of your status would have a barber to come in and give you a proper.
No, I do it myself.
You do it yourself.
I do a good job too.
And and on stage there, and you say you never get sick of being in that situation.
This was the show where I shared a dressing room with Gorbachev and Cher.
You sure? Are they on stage there with you?
No, they're not. They're back in the dressing room.
They're back there.
Parsing out the mirror.
All right, fantastic. Look, they're sort of art generally. Have you got any strong views on it? What kind of things do you collect? Do you collect much?
I do. I only collect stuff that I really like, and I've got great taste, so it's kind of easy.
Okay. We're going to move on to butterflies now, if you don't mind, Michael.
I like butterflies.
You like butterflies? Excellent. They're not just red ones as well, they're multicoloured ones, these are. Superb.
All week on the One Show, we're paying homage to the great British butterfly.
Last night.
Oh, Christine has joined us then. Christine, I'm interested to see where you stand on these cabbage whites, or indeed, do you just stand on them?
I squidge them, I'm afraid. When they eat my cabbages, well, I normally put a fleece over, but if I don't get them fleeced enough, I squidge the blighters, because they just turn my cabbages into confetti, and I'm not prepared for that, so squidge. I know they've got a place in the world, but there are so many other beautiful butterflies that can come and play on my beautiful sedums for the scent, and, you know, blue emperors and all sorts of things, and large blues coming on the lavender. You know, you whiff that. Go on, stick your nostrils into that and just smell.
She makes you do this, Michael.
And, you know, and you've got nectar producing things like the asters. And one of the key things is to make sure you get the right plants, because this is pretty and it's a little campanula, but it's got double flowers and it's sterile. So if you had a garden full of that, you wouldn't have a butterfly in a million miles. So fragrance, subtle colours, not brash colours, things like the pelargoniums can in fact turn butterflies off. But pale colours are fantastic. And, you know, a variety of things from the early spring all the way through. People think butterflies just need it actually in the autumn. No, they start breeding and pupating in the spring. They come out the soil. They then need to feed. And, you know, from things like the early primroses right through to the sedums and the oak trees and the...
Would these grow in Georgia, though? Would they grow here? Would they grow in Georgia?
Some of them would grow in Georgia. Things like the sedum would. The pelargoniums would be a bit miffy. The asters would be a bit...
So Michael didn't know what to make of Giles. He doesn't know what to make of you either.
I didn't know the word pupating existed.
Come on now,
I've
look,
learned
stick your
something
nostrils
today.
up that. Go on.
Would you like to smell a buddleia? You ever done that on television?
Wouldn't that attract every butterfly in England and in Georgia?
Well, butterflies like me would like it. Yeah, that's
Absolutely. I mean, and it's not called the butterfly bush for nothing.
I'm afraid the Twickenham gig is now cancelled. Michael started to pay for it. Won't be happening.
On Saturday,
send in your tickets, he'll send you a refund. No. So Twickenham's coming up this Saturday, is it?
Saturday, yeah.
Saturday. Okay.
Southampton tomorrow night.
Okay, fantastic.
That's Michael. That is it for tonight.
On tomorrow's One Show, Hardip Singh Kohli looks at pavement rage.
How TV toys could be worth a bob or two.
And a friend of the show, Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen, will be here.
Yes. Just one more thing, mind you. These poor guys...
Have a look at these. I don't know if they are nervous. I'd be very nervous
I think they
if I was
probably
them.
would be, in fairness. I think they are. I think it's fair to
He's
say
got that nervous look about it because this is Britain's greatest R.E.M. tribute band.
Yes.
They're called Stipe.
They're called Stipe, funny enough.
Yeah, they're called Stipe, and now they've got to perform in front of Mr. Michael Stipe himself. So go on, take it away, boys. Off you go.
Don't be nervous.
It's the end of the show as we know it. It's the end of the show as we know it. It's the end of the show as we know it. But I feel fine. 6 o'clock TV hour, no recording for a tell. Slash button, return, listen to yourself, churn. Block of you, uniform, foot, bunny, black, Benny, every motor vessel, on a motor simulate. Fire camera. Step down, watch heel crush, uh-oh. This means no fear, cavalier, renegade, clear,